So good morning all. So in yesterday's session, we were discussing about structure of DNA and about central dogma. And then we were discussing about the salient features of double helix model. So today we are just going to discuss on the first process that we saw under the central dogma, that is replication. So this, why have I highlighted it in red is two things. So you all know we have three processes like replication, transcription, translation. Out of these three, the most repeatedly asked essay so far in university is replication. So from university point, it is at most important essay question that you can expect from molecular biology. And I really wanted you guys to pay a good attention, be in a fresh mind to attend this session, because this session I'm just going to give you a conceptual understanding and certain points that you must include in your essay question to get maximum marks. So I'm not going to just get into every single detail of the part, but I just want you guys to take down those important points and diagrams that I have given. So it is completely with reference to Harper textbook. So before going on to the steps of replication, we need to know certain basic things. First, as usual, as I always say, an essay or any question, you need to start off with definition. So what is the best definition that you can give for replication? The process of, what is that? Process of synthesis of a new DNA molecule from one of the parental strand. So that is what even the semi-conservative synthesis of model of DNA says. Okay, so that is just production of replica of the parental DNA. That is called replication. So you produce an exact copy, right? So that is synthesis of new DNA molecule from one of the parental DNA as template. Okay, or here I can include one more thing, identical to parental DNA. Or I can just write one more point additionally. So DNA as a template and this identical to parental DNA. Okay, so basic thing is there is the replication or there is production of replica of the parental DNA. So you all know we during a cell division, there is a parent cell. So that is going to undergo division to produce daughter cells. So if the DNA content has to be exactly given into two daughter cells, the DNA content has to be multiplied. Okay, so this process of production of a similar copy of DNA from a parental DNA and which is identical to it is called as replication. So this is definition that goes. Now we need to understand some other points. So semi-conservative synthesis of DNA, as I have already said, this replication process, that is this production of replica of a DNA from the parental DNA, what is going to happen is out of the two strands of the DNA, there is going to be some process of unwinding wherein every strand of this parental DNA is going to act as the template for synthesis of new DNA. So the exact meaning of semi-conservative, what I can tell is that is the information, or I can say the parental DNA, okay, half it is being conserved in the daughter cell. What is the meaning? That is one strand is being taken from the parent and is given to the daughter cell. So semi-conserved, it is semi-conserved. So semi-conservative synthesis of DNA. So you need to write the definition. You need to highlight some points on semi-conservative synthesis of DNA. And next is leading strand and the lagging strand. So you need to have some understanding about this leading strand and the lagging strand, because with this only we are going to talk about synthesis of DNA. That is what we'll be discussing about the steps in DNA. So what are the points that you must know before you get into know the process proper? That the synthesis of DNA. So you all know that is production of copy. So this synthesis of DNA is going to happen in direction of 5' to 3', which means the nucleotides in the newly synthesized strand, make that point clear, the nucleotides in the newly synthesized strand are added from 5' to 3' direction, which means synthesis is going to happen in the direction of 5' to 3'. So what has to be the template strand then? The template strand is going to be in the 3' to 5' direction. So it is always said that the reading framework of the template strand by the enzyme is 3' to 5'. So நம்ம native தமிழ்ல சொல்றேன், அதாவது ரெப்ளிகேஷன்ன்றது ஒரு புது காப்பி, அதே மாதிரி ஒன்னு ஜெராக்ஸ் அடிக்கிறீங்க, சிம்பிளா சொன்னா ஜெராக்ஸ் அடிக்கிறீங்க பேரண்டல் டிஎன்ஏ, அதான் ரெப்ளிகேஷன். ஸோ இங்க சொன்ன பாயிண்ட் நான் இதை ஹைலைட் பண்ண விரும்புறேன். ஸோ இப்போ பாத்தீங்கன்னா அந்த நியூலி சிந்தசிஸ் ஸ்ட்ராண்ட்ன்றது 5' to 3' தான் வந்து சிந்தசிஸ் ஆக போகுது. ஸோ அந்த ரீடிங் ஃப்ரேம், ஸோ அந்த என்சைம் வந்து எப்படி நியூக்ளியோடைட்ஸை படிக்க போகுது அப்படின்னா ஃப்ரம் தி 3' to the 5'. Okay, so leading, so which is going to lead the show, it is 3' to 5' because that is the reading framework of the enzyme. So this 3' to 5' polarity strand is referred to as the leading strand. It is referred to as what is called as the leading strand. And you all know we will have another strand that is 5' to 3'. So this 5' to 3' if you take, it is called as lagging strand. What is it? It is called? It is called as lagging strand. Okay, so why am I focusing on this point so much is when we talk about synthesis of DNA in the steps of replication, there is going to be some difference between our DNA synthesized at the leading strand and how it is synthesized at the lagging strand. So as of now in the introduction of your essay, these 4 points you need to include. Even about enzymes, so you can just mention it as a separate point like list of enzymes that is involving in replication. So you can mention few enzymes like our DNA polymerase, you can talk about helicase, you can talk about topoisomerase, all that. Okay, so these are some things about the introduction aspect of replication. So with this, we will directly jump into the steps in replication. So these are the agenda that you will cover first. So if it is asked in essay question also, first you should talk about definition, then give some points about semi-conservative synthesis, then about what is the leading strand and lagging strand. And you can list about enzymes, that is not mandatory. Now, this is what is an important part, steps in DNA replication. So first thing that you must understand is in prokaryotes, it is a well-established process. So whatever we are going to study is the process that is taking place in prokaryotes. In eukaryotes, is a very complex process. So hence we do not have much detail. So I'll be just giving out some basic differences in these steps that is observed in prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So what are these steps? The first step is identification of ORI. Okay, so ORI stands for origin of replication. So we'll be studying everything in detail. So the first step is going to be identification of a particular site called as ORI, then unwinding of DNA. Okay, so both these strands are going to unwind. So as a result, there's going to be formation of a structure called replication fork. And once all these happens, ORI is identified, unwinding had taken place, replication fork has been formed, we have an important step where we need to discuss much details, DNA synthesis. And finally, termination. We have just one point to really discuss there. So this is what are the steps. So ORI, unwinding, replication fork, DNA synthesis, and termination. So I strongly recommend you to take these diagrams in your notes. Okay, so that will help you. So it is taken from again Harper. So ORI. So you all know what an ORI stands for. So ORI stands for origin of replication. So name itself is very significant that this is the site where the replication is going to begin. So the first thing that you must know is the difference in ORIs in prokaryotes and then eukaryotes. In prokaryotes, if you take, in prokaryotes, you are going to have only one single ORI. That is, there is going to be only one origin of replication. Whereas in eukaryotes, if you take, there are going to be many ORIs. This is the first thing that you must know. What is that? In prokaryotes, you have only one single ORI, whereas in eukaryotes, you have many ORI. Why am I stressing on this point? This point looks very simple, right? So, since prokaryotes has only one single origin of replication, there has to be a regulatory mechanism, or there has to be some specific inbuilt system that is now going to terminate this replication, right? So there has to be some mechanism that has to terminate because it has a single ORI. Because say suppose this is your DNA molecule and here I have my ORI. Okay, it's a prokaryotic DNA. So if in case there is no terminating mechanism, the daughter DNAs are going to be continuously synthesized like this. Okay, because see, it starts and ends at the same site. So it will think, okay, it is the beginning. Okay, but in eukaryotes, if you take, there are many ORI. So here you will have an ORI, here an ORI, here an ORI. So there is no different ORIs present. So there will be a inbuilt, or I can say automatically, there is no need of any terminating mechanism. It is going to terminate by itself because there are multiple ORIs. So this is the significance. Okay, so this you must know. So let us take some points regarding this ORI. Okay, so if you take about this, there are going to be many ORIs. Okay, just know the names. Like we call it as ORIC. Okay, ORIC we call it in case of E. coli bacteria. Okay, and then we are going to call ORI lambda in case of bacteriophages and phages. And we also have something called ARS, autonomously replicating system. This is found in yeast and this is also found in humans. Okay, so these are some names of ORI sites present. Okay, so if suppose this is going to be the DNA molecule, at this particular site, I'm going to have a specific sequence that is going to provide all the necessary things for replication to begin. So any piece of DNA, if it is going to come to this ORI, it is going to replicate or it is going to duplicate in the cell. Okay, so where this synthesis of DNA is going to happen is in the S phase or the synthetic phase of the cell cycle. Okay, so you will learn about cell cycle in detail later. So S phase. So these are some basic introductory points that you must know. Okay, so names. Okay, fine. The next thing that I wanted to tell is, it's a very important point. If you understand this basic concept, then things will be fine for you. Say suppose this is my DNA molecule. Okay, please listen. This is my DNA molecule. And at this site, I'm having what is called as your ORI. So what is going to happen is, there are also some proteins that are present called as ORI binding proteins. What are they? They are called as ORI binding proteins. In short, I'm writing it as ORI-BP. What is that? In a cell, we are also going to have something called as ORI binding protein. What is the function, sir? So if you take, this is your ORI. So the moment there is some activation of this site, all these ORI binding proteins are going to actually come and sit in this ORI. What is going to happen? These ORI binding proteins, it recognizes this ORI and it comes and binds to this ORI. Okay, what is the thing then? Please understand, this is a very important point. Proximal to this ORI, proximal means before to ORI, there is a segment which is referred to as AT-rich segments. What is that? AT-rich segments, which is actually going to unwind. It's not See, why is there ORI? Why is there ORI is, this ORI is actually going to activate this AT rich segments, or it is going to help in denaturation of AT rich segments. Why am I so particular this AT rich segment is? In the last session we saw adenine binds with thymine by means of 2 hydrogen bonds, guanine with cytosine by means of 3 hydrogen bonds. So in your lower classes you have learned about chemistry. More is the number of bonds, more is the energy required for breaking that bond. So for this denaturation of DNA to take place, you need to give some less energy. What is the criteria that will satisfy the least energy thing is only AT rich segments. So prior to ORI, okay, or at the end of, I can say before ORI, there is going to be a segment of this DNA that is going to contain only adenine thymine nucleotide base pairs. Okay, so once this ORI binding protein comes and binds, what is going to happen now is, there is going to be this unwinding of, this AT rich segments. Okay, just I've drawn like a mess, so I'll just make it clear here. So there is going to be this unwinding of this AT rich segments. So what facilitates this unwinding of this AT rich segments is the binding of ORI proteins, ORI binding proteins. Okay, so there is this initial unwinding that had taken place because of ORI binding proteins. So is that sufficient? No, it is not sufficient. Okay, so the moment that unwinding had taken place, you all know the stability of the double-stranded DNA molecule is this base pairing. If you remember yesterday, I have told you base pairing confers a specific stability to the DNA molecule. So if you take this, unwinding is not going to provide stability. So what will happen? The DNA will not try to come back to its original position. So there has to be some new set of molecule that is going to go and hold this unwinded segments properly. So I'll just zoom this portion alone, this AT rich segment which are unwinded initially because of ORI-BT. The moment this unbinding had taken place, you have a new set of proteins that comes and binds to this unwinded single strand segments. What is that? There is a new set of proteins that comes and binds to this unwinded segments, and that is called as single-stranded binding proteins. Please, no shorter, we call it as SSB. Single-stranded binding proteins. Yeah, in the single-strand binding proteins, because unwinding state is an unstable state for the DNA, so it tries to come back. So for preventing this structural originality to come back, we have some proteins again from the cell called as single-stranded, which means what? And the single strand la mattuna bind agum. That single-stranded binding proteins that is going to go and bind to the segments and thus prevents coming back. Now, once this had come and bound, we are going to have additional unwinding. These mechanism, whatever I have told, these proteins can unwind the DNA segment only to some extent, not that much. Okay, so then we have a beautiful enzyme called as helicase. This helicase is going to be found in only the prokaryotes. So prokaryotic unwinding enzyme is helicase. Okay, so this helicase will cause further unwinding of your DNA helix. Can you just make out the difference? Okay, so in prokaryotes, you have this helicase, and in eukaryotes, you have something called as MMC. Okay, so you can just go and check it out. It's not required, man. Okay, so you need not write this. Prokaryotic will be the question. So helicase, you just concentrate. It is the unwinding enzyme that unwinds the DNA further. Okay, are you clear till this? So whatever we have seen, I'll tell in Tamil because there are lots of Tamil people here. So என்னது ஒரு DNA molecule இருக்கு, அது செமிகன்சர்னா ரெண்டு தனியா பிரிஞ்சிடுச்சு. ஸோ இது எப்படி பிரிய போகுது, ORA அப்படின்ற ஒரு விஷயம் இருக்கு, அதுல டிஎன்ஏ வந்து உட்கார போகுது, அங்கதான் ரெப்ளிகேஷன் ஆரம்பிக்க போகுது. ஸோ என்ன ஆக போகுது, மொமெண்ட் ORA இஸ் பீன் எக்ஸ்போஸ், அந்த ORA பைண்டிங் புரோட்டீன் அப்படின்ற ஒரு விஷயம் வந்து உட்கார போகுது எங்க வந்து ORA. Once this ORA binding protein வந்து ORA ல உட்கார்ந்த உடனே there is something called as 80 rich segments before the ORA. ORA க்கு முன்னாடியே anti-clockwise direction or somewhere else ORA க்கு முன்னாடி 80 rich segment அப்படின்ற ஒரு விஷயம் இருக்க போகுது. So the moment ORA binding protein comes and sits to this ORA, this unwinding of 80 rich segments takes place. Unwinding நடந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் என்ன ஆக போகுது, you have some proteins called single stranded binding proteins that comes and sits on this. Okay, and stabilizes this unwinded DNA structure. அதுக்கப்புறம் helicase வந்துட்டு, which is a prokaryotic unwinding enzyme. It is going to unwind further and it is going to lead on to the formation of what is called as your replication bubble. What is that? It is called as replication bubble. Okay, so replication fork is very simple. So now already you have this helicase that comes and unwinds the DNA to a further extent, forming a replicative bubble. Okay, so this one half of a replicative bubble or a replication bubble is called as a replication fork due to its appearance like a fork spoon. So if you observe, it is going to look like this, right? So just now I told you one half of the replication bubble is called as a replication fork. I'll highlight this better. So this is one replication fork. This is one replication fork. Okay, so that is this formation of replication fork. Okay, that is simple. You can just draw this diagram and complete. Now synthesis is what is important. Okay, this is a very important part which will carry maximum marks. So to just recap, you all know, we just saw in the initial slide, we are having two types of strands, leading strand and then lagging strand. So what is the another point I asked you guys to remember? I told you always this DNA synthesis is going to happen in 5' to 3' direction. So the reading framework or the reading frame of parental strand is going to be in the direction of 3' to 5'. So which is your leading strand and 5' to 3' is your lagging strand. So we need to separately look into how this synthesis is going to happen. You all would have already studied and know your 12th standard molecular genetics. Okay, so what is going to happen in this leading strand is, I'll just tell you in simple because I don't want to talk in detail and consume lots of time. So leading strand is 3' to 5', right? So I'll just draw this. As a general protocol, be it a leading strand or a lagging strand, what is the enzyme that is going to involve in replication is your DNA polymerase. So prokaryotes, since we're talking about prokaryotes, I can be very specific, DNA polymerase 3. Okay, so now whether immediately, okay, after formation of replication, well, will this strand be formed? No, it is not going to happen. Why? Because this DNA dependent, the DNA polymerase enzyme does not have the capacity to directly synthesize new nucleotides. Are you able to understand ma? Idu rendu na pirichitem. Idu rendu pirichittu I need to have formation of a new strand here. Whether this DNA polymerase is capable of adding directly the nucleotides, no. Adukku it has to have an initiator. It has to have an initiator. For initiating, we have something called as an RNA primer. What is that? We call it as RNA primer. This will be applicable to both leading strand and lagging strand synthesis. And please note where this RNA primer is getting attached. It is always getting attached to this 3' end only. Okay, so DNA polymerase cannot add up nucleotides directly. So you are going to have an RNA primer that is synthesized by another enzyme present that is called as primase. So primase is the enzyme that is responsible for synthesizing this RNA primer. So to this RNA primer, DNA polymerase enzyme can add up nucleotides. Okay, so this is the first thing. So first step in the leading strand or in lagging strand synthesis is going to be the synthesis of RNA primer. So in both leading strand and lagging strand, there is going to be this common step happening. So I'll just make it simple for you guys. So this is your leading strand, this is your lagging strand points, and common of what I have told, we are going to have this primase activity. Now in leading strand, what is going to happen? Since the reading framework is 3' to 5', okay, in leading strand, since the reading is from 3' to 5', there is going to be continuous synthesis of DNA. What is going to happen? There is going to be continuous synthesis of DNA. Okay, if somebody in case asks you why is there a continuous synthesis of DNA, Abdina, you should say since the reading framework in the leading strand is 3' to 5', and we all know synthesis happens only from 5' to 3' direction, there is a continuous synthesis of DNA. Whereas in lagging strand, if you take, there is going to be discontinuous synthesis of DNA, because there the reading framework is going to be different, right? So we need to understand what happens. So in a lagging strand, okay, so this is my lagging strand. So what will happen is, there will be an, as usual, first step is, I'll write here probably, this is going to be your lagging strand synthesis. As usual, at the 3' end, you will have this RNA primer. Okay, but here, as I said, this is a discontinuous synthesis. Okay, DNA polymerase can extend nucleotides only up to certain extent. Next, you will have another RNA primer. Then again, there will be synthesis of DNA. Then again, primer. Again, DNA synthesis. So there is going to be this discontinuous synthesis that is happening in a lagging strand if lagging strand acts as a template. So we are going to have some additional steps happening, right? So these bits of fragments that is formed is called as Okazaki fragments. What is that? It is called as Okazaki fragments. Okazaki fragments. Now, what will happen is, once this entire, here I have put, right, RNA primer in 3' end. Once this entire DNA is being synthesized, the RNA primer will also be replaced by DNA nucleotides. You all know this is ribonucleotides and DNA will have deoxyribonucleotides. So these are all going to be replaced. Okay, so in case of a lagging strand, what is going to happen is, all these RNA primers will be removed. Okay, once all these RNA primers are removed, I told you there has to be substitution for this RNA primer. That refilling the gaps, that is the apt word that we use. What is that? Refilling of gaps is going to be taking place by DNA polymerase 1 enzyme. What is that? DNA polymerase 1 enzyme. So what I'm trying to tell here is, these RNA primer is going to be replaced by the DNA segments. Okay, these RNA primer segments are going to be replaced by this DNA segments. Okay, now again, if you take all these are still fragmented, so you need something to actually join all these fragments So joining of DNA fragments is going to happen by an enzyme called as DNA ligase. So ligase, you all know, gluing or no joining. So it is all going to join. So this is how DNA synthesized. So leading strand editing now, it is a continuous synthesis. So once an RNA primer is attached to the 3' end, automatically this DNA polymerase 3 is going to add up nucleotides in a continuous fashion. And then we are going to have the replacement of the RNA primer with this DNA, deoxynucleotides. And now in case of a lagging strand, what is going to happen, since the reading frame is actually 5' to 3', that is in the lagging strand polarity is 5' to 3', DNA polymerase finds it a bit difficult. So what is going to happen is there is going to be this discontinuous synthesis. So RNA primer, DNA fragment, RNA primer, DNA fragment, RNA primer, DNA fragment. So it is going to happen in bits. So those fragments are called as Okazaki fragments. So once this Okazaki fragments is formed, you are going to have this RNA primer is being removed and replaced by the deoxynucleotides by the enzyme called as DNAP1. Then all these fragments are going to be joined by means of an enzyme called DNA ligase. Okay. So finally, termination is by a specific site. So this is found, as I said, only in prokaryotes. So you are going to have a specific site called as ter site. Okay, like how we have OVA, right? Termination site. Okay, which is going to be again acted upon by a protein called as termination utilizing substance. Okay, termination utilizing substance protein. So to this site, when this protein comes and binds, the termination of replication is going to be over. Okay, so with this, I am also terminating your replicative session. Okay, so I hope you are not in this position. Okay, I know the subject is a bit dry, but overall biochemistry, if you take this molecular biology, is really interesting. Okay, and replication is important question. So just focus on whatever points I have told. With this as a base, I have not covered it detailed, right? In detail manner, I have not covered. I have just given you the ins, okay? And then the points you need to refer. This is how it goes in a coordinated manner. I have told that. So focus on that. We will probably meet very soon. Thank you all for attending the session. Bye-bye.